And before long, I had 5 or 6 people come up to me and said, "Dr. J, do you remember me?" And it was Jay Corbett and all these people. And these were all people who used to be teenagers in our youth group who are now parents of teenagers who live in San Jose and don't have a church to go to. Okay, I ran out of cards. Okay, and so it's that, where are they this morning? No. But what happened was, see what happened? We opened in consciousness for this and immediately started having what? A synchronicity to the new level of consciousness. How many this morning are ready to open in consciousness to something new for yourself? Something new and better and happier and healthier. Something prosperous and wonderful, something you can celebrate. Everybody say it's good enough to be true, it's good enough to be me, it's good enough to be now. Now let that acceptance begin to have a vision about where you can go and what you can do and what you can be. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Somebody came up to Dr. Holmes one day and said, "Dr. Holmes, will you treat that I take a trip to Europe?" And he said, "Are your bags packed?" Are your bags packed, everybody? Are you ready to do what you're accepting? Are you ready to be responsible for what you're accepting when it shows up in your life, if it's a change for the better? We could subtitle what I'm talking about this morning, self-induced awareness. Because the only increased awareness you're ever going to have in your life is what? Everybody say self-induced awareness. And who's going to set that in motion? Who's going to set it in motion? I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I'm reading a very, very interesting book called The Invisible Gorilla. Any of you found the book yet? It's great. I heard him interviewed on KGO. Ron Owens had had the author on the air. In Cambridge University, they did this experiment. Didn't I tell you about this? Maybe on a Wednesday night I talked about it. But they had a group of people, some were in black t-shirts, some were in white t-shirts. They had basketballs, and they set them down. And the people watching the video of this were to count how many times the people in white t-shirts passed the basketball. And right in the middle of this experiment, somebody came out in a gorilla suit, stood right in front of the camera and did this, whatever he was doing, and then walked off the camera. Only 50% of the people watching the video saw the gorilla. That's what the book's titled, The Invisible Gorilla. And the point they're making is there's a whole lot of stuff going on out there that we're not even letting ourselves be aware of. This is one of the things he said why we shouldn't be using cell phones while we're driving. Okay. That our attention gets diverted. Okay. And other things that we do while we're driving. They found out, tuning your radio or talking to the kids or whatever is just as diverting as a cell phone. But the idea is, how many know that there are things that go on around you that you're not aware of at some time? And you can have 10 people see one thing and they'll give you 10 different versions of it. I know on Sunday, I've been doing this 35 years, that people will come here on Sunday morning and hear what I have to say and walk out and, I've had people come up and say, "Why did you say that part?" And I said, "I didn't say that." "Oh, yeah, you said that." And I said, "Well, go get the CD. If I said it, I'll apologize." So they go get the CD. "Oh, you didn't say it." How many know that the way people behave is the way they choose to behave, and whatever reason they have for behaving that way is probably not what hadn't got anything to do with anything. They made up their mind to behave that way before what the reason showed up. Okay, I'm going to be angry today. The first thing that happens is my excuse. Okay, I'm going to be upset today. First thing is my excuse. Okay, now we unfold. Everybody say, "There is a power within me that knows what to do, knows how to do it. All I have to do is let it do it." Now, it will do it if you get your excuse for not doing it out of the way. See, the woman who walked up, and she's still a memory, walked up to Dr. Carroll one day and said, "I'd like to go back to school and get my degree, but I'd be 50 years old if I did that by the time I got it." And Carroll said, "How old would you be if you didn't get it?" Okay. How many have something you want to do? How many know it's never too late? See, your transformation into greater good hasn't got a thing to do with how long you've been here or how much you do know or don't know. All it has to do with is what? What you're making up your mind to do and be. So, everybody say, we each possess much greater mind potential than we could possibly imagine. Did you hear what you just said? You have more mind potential within you than you could possibly imagine. And the wonderful thing, see if any of you have gone down this path. If you let go and let that potential begin to think it of you as you and about your future and about your now, you suddenly discover that your concept of your own potential is greater than anything you've ever dreamed of. And if you're in the right place, you know it's only the starting point of what you can imagine. See, for years, I remember Dr. Carl Whitehead used to paraphrase Walt Disney when he called it Imagineering. That we know that our imagination is good enough to be true. Imagine yourself as something beautiful and wonderful. I love this, the song this morning. Okay. See, what are you imagining? What are you letting yourself become one with? How many times have you asked yourself this question? What am I here for? What am I here for? See? Remember when you did that when you were 18? Okay. Usually hits about that time because usually up until, how many remember when you were 14, 15, 16, 17 and you knew everything? Remember that? Okay. And then you hit 18, 19, 20 and realized you didn't know a damn thing. And then you got over that depression. And 21, 22, 23 hit. And all of a sudden you began to realize if you were on the right track, you can know anything if you make up your mind to do it. And you can master anything if you make up your mind to do it. Okay. So the challenge you have and the challenge I have is to do whatever we need to do. Someone pointed out that it was talking about a woman's job in life. It said a woman's job is this. A man is like a fine wine, said the woman. He starts out as grapes. And then it's a woman's job to stomp on him and keep him in the dark until he matures into something she'd like to have dinner with. Oh, you like that? Okay, you can use it. Keep it in mind. All right. How many know that's true? Okay, very good. Somebody came in and they were asking about my beautiful wife and co-pastor Cynthia, and I said, yeah, I was treating for the right person in my life, the right person for the church, and the right person for everything we're doing. And I said, she came in, and I don't know if you know it or not, but remember I used to wear my hair different. I went down to see Cynthia down in Laguna, and she said, I've got a surprise for me, and she marched me into this place that charges about $100 for a haircut, and all of a sudden I had different hair. I was telling people, I said, yeah, she came, she remodeled the church and remodeled me. But what were we accepting? See, we were accepting something new and wonderful and beautiful, as I was, as the church was. And so what happens? We demonstrated the right time in the right place and the right person and the right moving forward in this thing called life. You see, some people talk about finding God as if God was lost. It's not lost. You've probably heard me tell the story. How many have heard my radio program? Okay. You know, the radio program, I was on the air for 15 years out of San Francisco. One day I was in San Francisco at the radio station, and a Protestant minister walked up to me and said, oh, Dr. J. I said, yeah. I said, I listen to your radio program all the time, and I really love it, and it's really great. And I said, thank you very much. He said, yeah. I said, I agree with almost everything you teach in that religious science you teach, but he said, except for one thing. And I said, what's that? He said, well, you people believe you have choice.